Maybe you've come to Richmond, a town on the outskirts of London, because you are a crazy American fan of Ted Lasso and you want to see the place where it was filmed. Maybe you're just looking for a pleasant, safe, and less expensive place to stay on the outskirts of London so that you can see all kinds of fabulous things around London when you're on holiday. Or maybe you're like me and you came here to meet up with friends so you could go see one of the fabulous National Trust or English Heritage homes around here. Whatever brings you to Richmond, let me talk to you about what a cool place this is. I was surprised. We just came here not knowing anything about Richmond, and it actually has a lot to offer. Richmond has my 3 favorite breakfast places, all right here in the same place. Pret a Manger, and Leon, and Joe and the Juice. Today we are meeting up with some British American friends of ours to go to a National Trust property, a place called Strawberry Hill House. Strawberry Hill House was constructed in the mid-1700s by Horace Walpole, a writer and collector and son of Britain's first Prime Minister, who served during the reign of King George I. Walpole created Strawberry Hill as his summer villa and intended it to be a whimsical place of mystery and romanticism. It stands today as one of the earliest and most influential examples of Gothic Revival architecture. On the exterior, it is adorned with pointed arches, battlements, and towers. Inside, it is a quirky and eccentric home that is quite fascinating to explore. Horace Walpole never married nor had children, but he did open up his home for visitors, and even whilst he lived here, he would have tours once a week to show off this magnificent home he had built, the first Gothic Revival mansion of its day. I love how you've got the fabric and then the bed posters, they've painted the wood to perfectly integrate with the material. It's just amazing. And then this fantastic crest here in the headboard. I just love it. If you've watched any of our travel vlogs, you'll probably know that Ian is a big fan of an afternoon ice cream, and he is particularly fond of gelato. He's always searching for the best gelato in existence. I think the shop we visited here in Richmond might be his very favorite to date. This place is called Venci. It is an authentic Italian chocolate, confection, and gelato shop. Look at these chocolates and the chocolate-coated and sprinkled cones. And even the cups can come lined with chocolate and nuts or other sprinkles. Very high quality and posh. And check out these mouth-watering flavors. Which would you choose? Tell me in the comments. I decided to try the salted butter caramel flavor. And this is my beautiful cup of gelato. And here is Happy Ian with his 3-scoop cone of gelato deliciousness, including tangerine flavor on top.
So this gelato is one of the best things I have ever eaten in my life. It's that good.
That's pretty high praise. While we're on the topic of places to eat and drink, let me show you around to the wide variety of options in town before I show you the famous place we chose to eat dinner. There's the ever-popular Wagamama. Here on a main road in Richmond is my favorite restaurant from Cheltenham, right across the street from Ian's favorite burger place. And a Zizzy's, a place we enjoy eating pizza at in Cheltenham. And another pizza chain we like in Cheltenham, Franco Manca. But of course, there's also a Pizza Express. In addition, there's an assortment of independent places, like this Spanish tapas bar, and an upscale Japanese restaurant, and even a Persian restaurant. Quite a diverse variety of restaurants. You know Richmond is a really bougie place when they've got a Whole Foods and a Lululemon right across the street. And just down the street from that, a Waitrose, of course. And a million coffee shops, both independents and big well-known chains. It wouldn't be an English town without a Greg's. We have decided to have dinner at the Ted Lasso pub, actually known as the Prince's Head. because it has really good reviews. So let's go meet up our friends and check it out. The Prince's Head is located right here across from the Richmond Green, with the phone boxes and the bench in front of it, all of which factor into the Ted Lasso show if you've seen it. Richmond is full of these nice little pedestrian streets, and the pub and the green are in the middle of it all. Honestly, the pub looks a lot like it does in the show, including the TV screen where all the Richmond fans watch their team and cheer them on. This is definitely a sports bar, and there are Richmond mementos throughout the pub. While it is certainly a tourist hotspot, I also feel like it's a place that locals gather to have a pint after work or come by on Sunday for a roast dinner. And it's also a pub that's proud of its ale. Our friends Ian and Sandra sampled the London Pride Ale and a tropical and very frothy IPA. Sandra tried for a Ted Lasso mustache, but it wasn't quite that big. Since I'm not a beer drinker, I went for a different frothy drink, a hot chocolate. So what did we think about dinner at the Prince's Head, the Ted Lasso pub?
It was good, but I thought the portions that we had of our food were pretty small, but I had the lamb, kind of a fancy lamb dish.
You're at a pub, so you're expecting kind of hearty pub grub.
Yeah.
So you would have like lamb and mashed potatoes and vegetables on the side and things like that, and instead it was fancy cut French looking lamb.
Well, and the lamb was a little, I'll be honest with you, it was a little tough. I really like my lamb slow cooked and just melt off the bones.
Right,
sort
right,
of thing.
super tender.
Yeah, and like we've had it, what's that pub in Gloucester?
The Queen's Head.
The Queen's Head.
And we ate at the Prince's Head tonight.
Yeah, and this lamb was similar in price
yes.
to the Queen's Head, but
it's a massive portion. I'll put a photo of what it's like at the Queen's Head. Super big. 2 people are stuffed eating it. But that Scotch egg covered in the ham hock was delicious. So that was so good. Yeah. They were out of the cauliflower bites, which is another starter. That's what I was planning to have for my meal, was the cauliflower bites and the Scotch egg. Yeah. So I bet the cauliflower bites are amazing if you go there.
The other Ian's hamburger looked really good. And
yes.
He said it was amazing.
And the chips. They were triple cooked chips, and you know how when you get those properly double or triple cooked chips, they're really crispy on the outside, but then still soft and fluffy on the inside? Yeah. That's how the chips were. So the chips were excellent. I'm sure the fish and chips would be good if you wanted to get that. The pie of the day. So today it was chicken, ham, and leek pie, but I bet on a day that they had like a steak and ale pie or something, that would probably be really good. And then I thought it was so interesting that for their dessert they did a mini sticky toffee pudding. So it was not your usual, I'll put a picture here of usual sticky toffee puddings that we get. A usual sticky toffee pudding is like a big massive hunk of pudding with a moat of sticky toffee sauce or ice cream, cream, custard, all this stuff. This was just this dainty little thin slice. You know, the calorie count was like 145 calories for sticky toffee pudding, which is clearly, a microscopic portion. But it came with a hot drink. And I don't drink coffee or tea, so I got hot chocolate, which was beautiful, had a heart-shaped cocoa design on the top and big hot chocolate, which was really good. So I thought it was perfect when you have a big meal to be able to just have a little bit of a sweet dessert afterwards that's not overwhelming. I would recommend the place. I thought that it was a fun place to go to. You definitely, if you're a Ted Lasso fan, you feel like you're walking a little bit into the Ted Lasso experience. If you go there or if you've been there, please leave a comment and let me know. And if you're a fan of Ted Lasso, leave a comment and let me know. If you are a fan of Ted Lasso, there are lots of little reminders of the show sprinkled throughout Richmond. For example, down this little lane is Ted's flat, which in real life is number 11. We, of course, had to be annoying tourists and take our photos there. But if you haven't ever watched the show or aren't a fan, there are still plenty of reasons to visit this delightful part of London. Of course, this business with the hedgehog logo caught my eye as I wandered the streets of Richmond. Richmond is very walkable, and there's all kinds of little alleys and passages and walkways and small streets that can help you get all over the town. Now let's walk a few steps away from the bustling shopping area to the most beautiful part of Richmond as we follow this arrow and head to the Thames. We spent a very enjoyable few hours wandering along the river and up to Richmond Hill. The Riverside is a delightful place to stroll along, enjoying the water, watching the waterfowl, watching the boats and the paddlers, or you can be more adventurous and rent your own canoe, rowboat, kayak, or paddleboard and get out on the water yourself. Or you can cruise around on a rented bicycle if you don't fancy an aquatic journey. The Richmond Riverside boasts a picturesque row of Neo-Georgian style buildings, thanks to architect Quinlan Terry, who was tasked with restoring this area alongside the river near the bridge in the mid-1980s. Richmond Hill has stunning and expansive views. In fact, apparently this hill offers the only view in England to be protected by an Act of Parliament. In 1902, it was decreed that this land was protected and no development could occur to spoil the views to the west and south. Allegedly, this view is what inspired the founder of Richmond, Virginia, to name that city after this area of London. We also explored the beautiful Terrace Gardens, which were full of nice benches from which you could gaze across more splendid views, or green spaces to lounge on, and lots of beautiful flowers to enjoy, including some magenta ones, of course. And also amidst the beds of colorful blooms was this lovely wee lavender patch, which made me feel like I was back in the Cotswold lavender fields. Check out the description to see a link to my video of those amazing fields. For my last meal in Richmond, I went looking for a full English at a local diner and found this little place called Mooka Café, which served all-day breakfast. This cafe has a distinctly Ted Lasso flair to appeal to all the tourists who come to Richmond for that reason. But I was here for brekkie, so let's tuck in. I asked for some brown sauce, and then they didn't ask what kind of toast I got, but look, they brought me both white and brown or wheat toast. And then here's my vegetarian full English. We've got lots of properly caramelized tomatoes, some fried eggs under there, and the mushrooms look lovely. And of course, a bunch of beans. And then here's the thing that I know some purists are not going to agree with, but I got me some hash browns, and those are going to be great with brown sauce on them. While Richmond has much to offer if you stay here, it is also a great place to stay as a base for venturing further afield to other parts of London and the surrounding areas. It's easy to get around on the train, the underground or overground, as well as by the many buses that travel to and from Richmond, including easy access to Heathrow. I hope you enjoyed this little vlog of Richmond. If you come here or if you've been here, let me know. I'm anxious to hear what you think of it. Thanks so much for watching, and do something good in the world today.